How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. What's up, nerds? Welcome back to a brand new month, brand new week with your boy TraderPrad and all things stones. Hopefully you had a wonderful day. I didn't do too much trading because it was a long weekend for Canadians over here. I'm not even sure why we had a long weekend, but Monday, day off in Canada. So got to sleep in a little bit. Do some chores around the house, vacuum a couple rooms, not the whole house, but mostly got to work on a lot of coding projects and AI projects that I've been wanting to do. Finally figured I'm going to bite the bullet and pay for a coding agent, which was previously Cursor for me, so figured I'll pay for Cursor for 1 month and see how much work I can get done. The idea is, if I can automate even one trading setup of mine, if I can even automate one trading setup in 1 month and have that trading setup generate at least $20 worth of revenue, should be easy, not the hardest thing to do. So if I'm able to do that, then it's basically paid for the AI cost. So the goal is to make a trading bot in 1 month that is at least able to generate $20 per month. And if that's possible, then we can build on that, go forward, see how deeper we can really dig ourselves into the rabbit hole because of all these AI capabilities, tools that we have, agents as they call it, at our disposal. I mean, just a fun rabbit hole to dive into. And guess what? If I don't make $20 in a month from that, then I lose $20, which was well worth the experiment, well worth the ride, the journey that I'm going into, because I get to learn something new. I get to play with AI tools. I get to play with trading bots and systems. I get to learn new things. So just fun adventure that I'm on, just something that I wanted to tell you guys to maybe think about it yourselves, because with AI out there, with the AI at everyone's fingertips and disposal, if you're not really putting yourself out there to learn more about it, to expand your knowledge base about it, then you are falling behind, right? Because people like me who might be just as smart as you, or maybe, you know, even less, depends on who you're talking to, are putting in the hard work to you know, learn these tools that are available to everybody, right? So if you want to expedite your process in learning, in coding, in developing art in general, I think you have to start thinking about playing with some of these AI tools out there. So just a quick little intro to how current environment in trading is changing, and how current environment in everything is changing. Let's take that directly into the stonks, because there's nothing really for me to showcase today. Like I said, I didn't really trade, so nothing for me to talk about other than the stocks that might be important for us to look at tomorrow, like the earnings names and so on. Here's a cool, fun little website that I found last night, based on defense and surveillance companies around the world. So as you guys know, there's a lot of surveillance and defense companies around the world, a lot of them actually from Israel, a lot of them originating from Israel, but Palantir being the biggest one out there now, I guess. The biggest aerospace and defense, not really aerospace, but the AI and defense, technology and defense. The defense is now the new offense these days. If you're not defending, you are most likely vulnerable to a threat, like how, you know, America was not too long ago in 2001. So ever since then, they've had to ramp up defense as now the first step as offense. You'll even hear that coming out as NFL season rolls around. Defense is the new offense and so on, right? But this website, very cool. You get to check out, you know, quickly who is actually invested in Renaissance Technologies. That's awesome. Who's actually invested in Palantir? Their pipeline looks like these links actually don't do anything at the moment, but you can dive into exactly what this company does there. Who are they funded by? What countries use their technology? Israel, United States, United Kingdom, Vietnam, UAE, Bahrain, Spain, even India uses the Palantir technologies to basically defend themselves from potential threats, and even to maybe track their citizens, right? Because Palantir is not just about threat defense all day, it's also about an AI capability that is used to analyze all sorts of data. If you are interested to go look for other companies in these basket of stocks, for example, Raytheon. If you click on Raytheon, you'll see Raytheon only supports USA for the most part, which makes sense because it's an American company. I'm pretty sure they do support other companies too, but I guess they don't. I guess for surveillance, they only support America. They don't support other countries in the surveillance section. This is Raytheon surveillance sector, not the whole aerospace and defense sector. At least that's how I'm guessing. Cool website nevertheless to learn more about all of these awesome companies and exactly how they surveil the earth. Why do I have two Notion links open? Okay, let's head back to the browser, which is the best browser in the game at the moment. That is Comet Browser. Quickly take a look at, let's see if Comet Browser can actually analyze images. What do you see on the tab? Let's see if it can analyze images. You are currently viewing image with the JPEG format and can't look at images. Yeah, thought so, sadly. I can analyze the image for general objects, text, or visual elements. I can describe any detected text or graphical, if that's so. Okay, let's see. Describe all elements or texts found. See if you can. Describe it. Yeah, I didn't think it would be possible for it to do this, and it's clearly failing at it. Image reading is still a little bit of an issue for most AIs. Um, but maybe one day eventually we'll solve that problem too. The main thing I wanted to show you guys was basically the stocks that reported earnings today after hours and the stocks that might report tomorrow pre-market. We have Pfizer, Caterpillar in that basket of stocks to take a look at. Lemonade, not really sure we care about that much. DuPont, DD, I'm pretty sure DuPont stock or ticker was something else. Anyways, let's go see where DuPont is. Not really making a move at all in the after hours. Well, I guess they report pre-market, so that makes sense why they didn't move after hours. Main stock, however, on my watch list tomorrow will be Palantir and a couple other stocks over here that I from my quick little scan noticed that they were moving around. I see Barkit in the chat. He wants me to take a look at NVO and Mercado Libre. Isn't that like a really expensive name? I mean, I'll take a look at it, but very expensive name. Not sure it's even worth talking about, but if you got a lot of money, then obviously Mercado Libre, always a good name to keep an eye out for. Let me just quickly throw in some of these large cap names so I don't forget them. Tesla, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's Google. Quickly throw in some of the cryptocurrency basket names. Coinbase actually has a good setup coming up for tomorrow, possibly. Coinbase, MicroStrategy, IBIT. Didn't RIOT or MARA just recently report? We'll throw that on the watch list too to keep an eye on it just in case. We'll see if there's anything good over there. Okay, Palantir reported today after hours. So quickly, let me do my awesome research, which is slash earnings. Oh, okay, I did ER stream scan. I want Palantir. I want, what else? I want Palantir, HIMS, Mila, Mercado Libre. Axon, I mean, they don't really trade with volume. That's the downside, but I guess we'll put them on the thing to see if there is anything worthy to read about. ON reported today. ON Semiconductors. That's been a little bit of a rip to the north side, if I remember correctly. Tyson Foods also reported today. Pretty sure it's Tyson Foods. Wayfair, and then Berkshire. I don't really need to put Berkshire on the watch list. Think that's basically it. Do we need NVTS or VRTX? Where is VRTX these days? It's been a long time since I've looked at VRTX. Not sure we'll be trading this tomorrow, but possibly worth keeping an eye on. 480. Did this go up today? It went down. Ooh, straight to the downside to the $400 area. That's actually a pretty big drop in the after hours to the $400 area. Maybe worth keeping an eye on then, because any pop and staying weak below this low over here potentially takes the stock back to 400, and then for us an opportunity even lower. VRTX just made the watch list for us to keep an eye out for, and we'll also scan for that on the earnings report. VRTX. And that should be it. That should be A-Lab reports tomorrow after hours. Yes, so we'll obviously talk about ALAB and ANET tomorrow after hours, and SMCI, so make sure you tune into the stream. A bunch of good companies reporting tomorrow after hours. AMD, Supermicro, ALAB, Snapchat, not good company, but worthy companies to keep an eye on. Rivian, Upstart. Throughout the week we have Uber, Shopify, IonQ, AppLovin, Novo Nordisk, Six Flags, Disney, ELF Beauty. Lots of names reporting soon, so excited to see how this earnings report plays out. For tonight though, these are the names that we're interested in, so quickly let the AI take a second and see what us go through. You don't need the other stuff. Half of the models are kind of ancient. Gotcha. Okay, I'll ask it to train. Can you, hello? Also train and XG boost. That's it. All it took was one line of change to the code to add XG boost. That's all it took. That's insane. We'll see. Anyways, that's something that my friend is recommending. In the meantime, here is all the reports that we needed really quickly. Let me just scroll down to what? Usually it separates all the metrics for each company separately, or it's not done making the report just yet. Yes, I want all. Oh, did I do ER detailed? Oh my goodness. I think I did ER detailed. That's why. We're gonna do... I do ER detailed. Or did I do ER scan? What did I do, chat? I completely forgot. ER scan stream. Oh, I did do that one, but it didn't give me all of them at once. That's kind of rude. Come on, dude, do your job. Do your job. Don't make me look bad. You're supposed to make me look good. I also don't want to go back and forth and look for the earnings myself. Come on, just give me all of them at once. Looks like it's going to over here. Here we go. PLTR 77% up on EPS. Revenue up 48%. That one's booming. HIMS barely any beat, but they did beat. 73% up on revenue over there on HIMS. How did the guidance look like? 2.3, so reaffirmed in general. PLTR full year raised revenue from previously 3.8 to 3.9 to 4.14 to 4.15. That's looking pretty good overall. Revenue all up across the board. PLTR just printing money at this point. I mean, I just showed you guys the surveillance map, and they're almost covering half the world at this point, half the globe. So that's something to keep an eye on. Mercado Libre growing across the board. Also, however, they missed EPS from the estimates, so missing estimates, but they did beat revenue, and they're also growing on the revenue side, which is good. Axon beat EPS, beat revenue also. Looks like good, and guidance raised. Axon, okay, I'm glad that I actually left them on the watch list. I was gonna remove these guys, but I'm glad that I put that on the watch, because ooh, look at that sentiment score 8 out of 10, earnings report score 9 out of 10. If we scroll down over here, we should see a quick little at glance sentiment score. The closer to 10, the more bullish. The closer to 1, the more weak or bearish. So for the most part, sentiment score across the board is pretty high for all stocks other than HIMS and ON. They're the only ones suffering with the sentiment score closer to the midway. The rest of them are all above it. So ON actually below 5. They're at 4.5 and 4. The AI analyzes the report itself and gives it a sentiment score, and they're both closer to the one over here on ON. So let's actually go see how the chart is for ON and see if it plays out exactly that way. Oh, big drop today before the stock even reported, or did they report in pre-market? They did. So they reported pre-market, and the stock literally spent going down all day tomorrow, and looks like the sentiment score matches the overall idea of how the stock played out. So big move down, and the stock has been on a insane rip to the north side recently. If you also take a look at where the previous earnings VWAP was and where today's earnings VWAP lands, both lands at $50 surprisingly enough, and 50 is also that even psychological level on ON. So really quickly, before I head anywhere else, I want to push myself over to my watch list first. Type in ON, type in resistance 50, and that is the main key inflection level. If the stock pops to the upside and rejects anywhere below 50 tomorrow, I think there's an easy day 2 trade to keep an eye on. Watching for day 2 shorts if stock can stay below 50. Quickly going back over to our report on the day and reading the other stocks while we can. Where did we stop off at? ON. Let's quickly read ON. Down 45% compared to estimates. Revenue actually declining year over year, so obviously makes sense why they're getting slammed to the downside. Tyson Foods up 5% year over year, beating estimates, up 4% year over year on revenue, also beating estimates. Guidance, giving it a 2 to 3% up overall. They're guiding higher, so it looks like Tyson Foods is also bullish a little bit. Sentiment neutral, slightly positive, beats on top and bottom line, so slightly neutral to positive, so still good overall. Wayfair sentiment is slightly neutral to positive also. I mean, wasn't the stock about to get bought out not too long ago, if I remember correctly? Not sure. Oh, that's actually pretty decent sentiment score. 8.5 and 9. Maybe worth keeping an eye out for. That's pretty much as close to Palantir if you compare the sentiment score. The only other one that got high enough of sentiment score was Axon and Milai or Mercado Libre. I'll just say Mercado Libre. And Wayfair got a pretty high score, so let's go see if Wayfair made a pop. Ooh, that's a nice pop on Wayfair, and I think getting above this pre-market high tomorrow, noticing how the stock simply never got above it today. If we get above that level tomorrow, I think that could make things very interesting around 74.50, 74.60. Let's see if Wayfair gives us some opportunities to play with. 74.50 / 74.60 to keep an eye out for as a possible resistance. But if that turns into support, you know, maybe some bigger extension up north side. Let's also zoom out a little bit to see where the stock is on the daily chart. So 74 possibly takes us into 76, and then maybe we have to reevaluate as to is there buying or selling over there based on, you know, previous historical resistance levels and so on, but still worth keeping an eye out for. I think ideally the better setup would be the stock going into 76 and then struggling at 76 for a short where you can short it back to the downside. But with the way the stock is moving at the moment, it looks, the candle's more bullish than bearish, but the levels right above aren't really the most appetizing thing to look at when you are seeing this type of action. So hopefully we find support above 74.50, we go to 76, and then we stick to 76 and then get above 76. So that's probably, you know, the bullish scenario. But the current scenario that's playing out in my head, the more probable scenario, is the stock goes to 76, finds some sort of an issue over there, sells off, pulls back, doesn't really close below today's high, still manages to close above today's high, above today's close, at which point it's still a bullish close, but doesn't mean that it's finding buyers above 76 tomorrow. So that'll be the key level to keep an eye on. So watch how the stock trades around there. Since we did do a quick glance about the earnings reports from our good friends over at Perplexity, don't really need to waste too much time going back and forth on each stock. So that was a quick that's a lot of good time saved over there that I can actually spend looking at these charts now. So Palantir had a pretty good flag, and breaking out of that flag into a new all-time high. You saw how bullish that report was. They're growing on all sides. They're also increasing the devil's number over here. They're also increasing their guidance for the full year and for the next quarter. So looking very good. Ideally, you want to see the stock staying above the earnings anchored VWAP, which is right around 167 right now. If it starts staying above 167, the stronger the hold above 167, the easier the long it is around that area. But if we do get a pullback, I think you know, watching how the stock trades on the pullback is something that I would love to do, based on the earnings report, based on the most recent action. Look at how it's whipped some people back and forth. There's going to be a lot of, you know, FOMO chasers trying to get back into this name, and that could cause the stock to actually go bonkers tomorrow. There's also a decent short float for this name, you know, lots of bears betting on Palantir to go to the downside, and on every single turn they've been beaten up, and every time they got beat up they go right back in. Recently we had a news article that the government is trying to step in and block the growth rate of Palantir by creating their own AI tools and AI capabilities, which is basically in return going to not give Palantir as much control as a public company, and also you know, not as much money needs to be spent on Palantir. That means less government contracts for Palantir. So that really brought the stock to the downside. But this earnings report over here just completely shaking things up and moving it right back up. So good move for Palantir. Shout out to the Palantir holders who were strong enough to, you know, trail their position to the earnings VWAP or the 50-day moving average and so on. If you did that, you would still be in the trade. Talking about, where is it? Talking about Palantir, I basically said 167, but I'm not sure this level will be in play in pre-market. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock is already trading closer to the after-hour highs, or even above it in a new area, given how strong the market rebounded today. So how strong we move back up, very high priority name tomorrow without a doubt. I think pre-market areas will be more important than how we set up today. If the pre-market area is basically where we are right now, then the stock's priority is a little bit lower for me, but still a high priority name because we're trading at an all-time high off of an earnings report, which is a fresh new catalyst. Trump going on CNBC in the AM, just learning, heads up. Thank you, Josh, for hooking us up with that information. TH in the house. TH saying happy Owl Awareness Day. I did not know that. Bark it, Free Fall Friday, the term coin. It did happen past Friday. You're right, it did happen. Look at that. Your boy coins awesome terminology that actually play out. Free Fall Friday. Josh is in the house also, and Josh hooked us up with the news that Trump is potentially going on CNBC in the morning. We'll see what he's talking about. Maybe more Epstein file conversations. Let's head over to the next stock over here on Hand HIMS. I think our sentiment score, our sentiment score analysis for HIMS was actually very low. 5.5. So earnings sentiment 5.5, overall sentiment 5, which is the social media sentiment, is 5, and that is not good. So social media bearish, and you're seeing the earnings sentiment bearish, the stock pushing right into the previous earnings anchored VWAP low and potentially finding some support around that area. I mean, the stock has been very resilient and finding support back to back on each dip, so I'm not really sure you want to be pressing into the downside over here, especially when we're going back into previous support zones. But just goes to show you why I don't invest in health service names. You know, every time I see the stock go up and I get a little bit of a FOMO, I go, oh, I should buy some shares because there's good money to be made each time. But then each time I get that thought process, that little light bulb goes off in my head, I snuff that light right away and I say, no, my rule is don't buy health service stocks. You simply don't buy health tech, health service stocks. There's no point in doing them, because one single news and they go right back down. And look at him, right? Earnings catalyst. I just don't like these names, man. I'd much rather invest in Tesla and have Elon Musk move around my position with his tweets than be stuck with the boner pill company that's not able to get up. Pun intended. So I'm just, you know, I'm always a big fan watching the stock go down, but not a big fan when I see it go back up. But then great fan when I see it go right back down. If you're an investor, I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? You gotta win some, you gotta lose some, and on this one you happen to lose again. I did warn you on it. Anyways, you know, like I mentioned, going back into previous support areas, finding a short in this area will be a little difficult. I think shorting on the pops is very much a viable trade, so look to see how the stock behaves around the earnings VWAP at the $54 area, where we clearly had a seller around. You can see at 54-ish, the stock really struggled to get back above 58. Around 58, the stock really struggled to get back above. So a seller in this area. If we do pop back to 58, I'll be watching to see if there's any short opportunities on this name. Ideally, you want to see it pop into the earnings VWAP and then reject around the earnings VWAP, which is currently 56.80, and I'll put 56.50 as a range. E VWAP, E anchor VWAP. Okay. And for support, I already have 50.41 marked out. That's basically like the previous range low area, but I'm just gonna draw that line down a little bit to $50, and we'll see if HIMS can give us a day trade tomorrow. Tyson Foods, TSN, nice move in the pre-market, but that move basically is, you know, so insignificant on the daily chart that I didn't even see where the stock is until I zoomed in. So insignificant. I don't think we put TSN on the watch list for tomorrow at all. Deleted it goes. PFE reports tomorrow pre-market. I think for the most part PFE also gets deleted from the watch list for tomorrow. Not a day trade name for me at all. Very boomer name to day trade. You know, as a day trader, you want volatility. You want a stock that moves quickly, and quickly in your favor when you're correct, and quickly against you when you're wrong. That way you know why you're wrong and you don't play with fire again. Right? You need volatility, you need volume, you need a fresh catalyst, all of which Pfizer might have tomorrow based off of its earnings report in pre-market, but nowhere close to the volatility that you will see on HIMS, on Palantir tomorrow. So it's just not a high priority name, nowhere close to even a middle tier priority name for me tomorrow, but it's on the watch list nevertheless, in case it does do something crazy, like for example it goes all the way above 26.50, then I'll have to bite the bullet and look for a possible trade opportunity on Pfizer. But besides that, I really don't think there's a trade for us to even worry about. Caterpillar, amazing recovery on Caterpillar. I forgot about Carvana. Where's Carvana doing? Carvana pulled back pretty hard, eh? Okay, anyways. Let's go to Caterpillar. Sorry, I got distracted again by a Discord chat. Okay. Caterpillar earnings tomorrow. Beautiful chart over here. Ideally, if you're a bear, you want to see the stock reporting negatively and then breaking this little area low somewhere right below 420, 419.50. But if you're a bull, then you want to see the stock going above whatever that little area high is, 441.15. So Nice little consolidation in this area, back and forth, holding the 9-day moving average, still staying above the 21-day moving average when it did give up the 9-day moving average. Still very much within the Bollinger Band on the daily, and the Bollinger Band is actually pretty damn volatile. So you can see that this earnings report potentially could take the stock higher or right back to the downside near $400 area, at which point I wouldn't be surprised if it does do that. So keep an eye out for Caterpillar. Pretty decent priority tomorrow for us. Next one, American Eagle. Another bounce on American Eagle after the whole Sydney Sweeney event again. I don't even know what this new event is, but someone said watch American Eagle for Monday, and boy were they right. I don't know exactly why. Did she show up again? Oh, Trump's praise for the Sydney Sweeney, and how Barron is apparently he's a big fan of Sydney also. So all of this caused the stock to absolutely rocket ship, short float, pretty high short flow, blah blah blah. So rocket ship mode over here. If this stock pulls back and finds support above this previous high, you can see also how today's midpoint is right around that previous high. So let's say $12 to $12.50. If American Eagle is able to find some support around this area, then you don't want to be ignoring this name, because with the high short float somewhere about 20% or more, this could obviously get ridiculous. Inflection point is basically 12. If the stock is not finding buyers above 12, there is just simply no more long on this name for me. Could even be a great short back through to the downside, but no long at all. Joby, whatever the stock's name is, I don't want to argue with people about it. I've always gotten into arguments about how to pronounce the stock's name, and I'm over it. But Joby, reporting that they are acquiring another company, and because of that, they pushed themselves up by 20%. So now they are at a new all-time high. Beautiful flag in this area, and then breaking out of that flag, drone company flying up north. Haha. So love to see how it behaves on pullbacks. At the moment, $20 is your inflection level. That is your first area of defense you want to see on this name. The longer we stay above 20, I think the easier the move is to the north side. Tomorrow, next week, all year, as long as we stay above 20, which is a new all-time high, the sky is the limit for the little drone. So we'll see if Joby gives us some good trades in the future off of this level, especially tomorrow off of that level. Reddit day 3 of earnings tomorrow, so interesting so far. Today again, another monster move on Reddit, extending the day 1 move off of earnings. Day 3 we'll probably see a little bit less volume and contraction of range, so not really expecting Reddit to go ballistic above 200 tomorrow. I think the better setup tomorrow on Reddit is to watch how the trade or the stock trades around 200. If it's able to find buying above 200, then you could possibly look for a long, but I'm more so interested to look for a short back through 200, at which point it's not really looking bearish as an overall theme after the earnings report. It's just having a natural pullback. So 200 weakness tomorrow will show me a trade for a quick little short scalp to the downside on Reddit, and we'll see if that plays out for some money. Fig sold off pretty drastically today, giving up that $100 area, going all the way back to 88. Boy oh boy, I didn't even see that one. So monster move Fig, nice little bouncy ball short going into the end of day also, and very weak. So nice stock to continue to keep an eye on. Volume is still pretty decent, honestly, not bad volume. And imagine Fig gets below 84. That's gonna really make things fun on this name. So Fig, high priority name still, and it's actually going to be a high priority name for the next few days, weeks, months. So make sure that you keep it on your watch list. We have more IPOs coming out in the future, but no IPOs for tomorrow, so no need to talk about any of those. NBO. I think Barkate was the one who wanted me to talk about NVO. I don't really have any idea. Look, Barkate, I said I don't buy health tech companies. I don't buy health service companies. And my opinion on these are always to the downside. I wasn't a big fan of Ozempic, even though I potentially could use it. I was never a big fan of Ozempic and the whole idea behind it, how people were using it to cheat themselves away from actually working out and so on, being lazy. I'd rather be lazy and be fat than you know, be lazy and then pop those drugs into me. So Ozempic over here taking a little bit of a beating. The whole semi-glutides, is that the right word? GLP-1s or whatever. Taking a beating on Novo. Technically, this is not a good stock, right? Technically, this chart sucks. But if you look at it as a day trade, this is actually a pretty decent chart for some possible upside. So this was first green day, and this is the second green day. If the stock does manage to get above both of those days high today and Friday's high, which is right around $49.50, potentially some relief rally to the north side on this name. But I mean, is that like a high priority trade tomorrow? I'm not really sure that's a high priority trade tomorrow. And if you're looking for this as a swing trade, I'm not sure. You know, NVO is a name for me to look for as a dip buy. I rather buy UNH for a big reversal eventually than NVO. I don't know, just my opinion. I could be wrong though. I'm not a swing trader. I'm not an analyst. I'm not a financial advisor. Well, I am a swing trader, but you know, I'm all of that for myself, not for you. So I don't really know how to judge NVO or its financials or anything more serious on this name. As a day trade, I think there could be a day trade here if the stock could get above $50. If it doesn't, or 40.30, you have this little three day play setting up in this 49.30, 49.50 area, at which point if it does get above it, maybe some relief rally to the upside to participate as a day trade. So I'll keep an eye out for that. Maybe even set an alert. I mean, why set an alert? Because 100% of the time I don't look at my alerts. Mercado Libre reporting, and they had a pretty high sentiment score according to our AI tool, and I'm expecting an upside move. Sadly, no, they got smoked. Mercado Libre pushing to the downside. Very nice breakdown of that low, if you ask me. So obviously you're not a fan if you are a holder, because you don't want to see that support breaking. If you are a long-term investor, if you are a swing-term buyer and you are buying somewhere in this area, you're not happy watching this stock below that level. And if you wake up tomorrow and see your stock below that level, chances are you're most likely selling the stock tomorrow, or at least you're waiting for the 200-day moving average to come into play, which is around 2,130. Let's see if the stock got below it or to that level. Not really to that level. We tried to go to 2,130. We bounced a little bit higher than that, and now we're trading around 2,200. So overall, still above the 200-day moving average, and did give up a support area, but still above the 200-day moving average. So if you are a long-term buyer, long-term investor, are you really worried about this little tiny break? Maybe you take some profits on that breakdown, but you're okay as long as the stock is above the 200-day moving average. So as a day trade, the stock doesn't make my list at all. If this was a lower priced stock, the fact that it just did this, I think popping up and rejecting somewhere in this area would be on watch. But you know, it's a low volume stock and a high price stock, so the spread is just not interesting for me at all. Not interesting for me at all. But I'll put it in my watch list to see if there's any opportunities that show up on this name. Caterpillar, for now, you go under the orange basket, and that should be basically the stream for today. Nvidia pushing back into 180. It actually broke 180 in the after hours, closed at 180 today. That's pretty awesome. closed at 180, getting above 180 in the after hours. Microsoft pushing back up. Meta looking good at the same time over here, pushing back up. Palantir, we mentioned that earlier today. Apple, how are you doing since your report? To the downside, right back to the south side for Apple. Amazon, you got slammed on your earnings report and you look a little weak at the moment. So when you have 2 of the 7 large cap stocks not really healthy at the moment in the QQQ basket, it's a little worrisome about what the market's gonna do. But you know, the other 5 are still very strong and they're pushing back up. Google, for example, Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia. Well, no, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, Tesla is the one I'm forgetting. So 4 out of the 7 acting well, 3 acting bad. It is what it is. QQQ at the moment though. Wow, the music, I just heard the music really loud. Is it very loud for you guys, the music? QQQ still acting fairly well over here if you ask me. Not even close to the lower range of the daily Bollinger Band. We are now closing back above the 21-day moving average today, still below the 9-day moving average, but a nice move back across the board on the markets here for the QQQ and for the S&P 500. IWM kind of having a little bit of a relief off of the 200-day moving average at the moment, and Dow Jones, the DIA, potentially still having some struggle because of UNH overall, but right off the 50-day moving average, right above the 200-day moving average. So DIA still looking good. As long as the markets are above the 200-day, we're going to be enjoying the rallies across the board, hopefully. Something to point out, we recently had FOMC, the next FOMC date around the corner. It should be in September, and the probability calculations for that FOMC date is a 90% probability that they're going to cut the rates by 25 beeps, which is very interesting. This is potentially a metric to keep an eye on, and how this changes as we keep getting closer and closer to the September 17th date. Also, obviously, economic calendar. So you know, every single day watch for the 3-star events. Tomorrow we have this PMI numbers, then ISM numbers at 10 o'clock, CPI, PCI, PPI, all those 3-letter acronyms events that comes out, you know, throughout the econ calendar. Watch those numbers, and then we'll get a clear idea of exactly how the FOMC committee will probably keep the rate steady or not steady, if they want to start looking to cut it, and all those types of cool stuff. Only 3 more FOMC dates left in this year, so 3 FOMCs left, and we still haven't had a single rate cut. And the fact that we're now expecting the market, or the market is now expecting the Feds to have a rate cut in November, you probably will see some of that being baked into the market, being cooked into the prices as buyers come right back in to defend the sell-off, right? Retail probably got shook out and took some profits, and now you're seeing hedge funds and bigger buyers really buy the dip up and show the buying that's really there still. We're not really opening up the floodgates to the downside just yet. Market breadth opening back up too. Actually did that analysis earlier today before going live, which is the stock beat. No, I closed the page. Which is the stock beat market monitor. Looking at the breadth overall, you can see how today number of stocks that were up 4% or more was 345, whereas the number of stocks up more than 4% on last Friday was only 120. There was actually 501 stocks down more than 4% on that date. So a nice little turnaround on the market across the board. Even the secondary breadth number showing you a complete turnaround from Friday. So free fall Friday having a nice correction Monday. Free Fall Friday, giving us a... Is there a word for reversal that starts with M? If so, insert that word and then Monday. Overall, nice opportunities. You know, this is what you want to see from the market. If you're a day trader, if you're a swing trader, this is not what you want to see. But if you are a day trader, you know, you're getting tons of volatility, market moving back and forth. You're getting stocks going all over the place. Themes are still very much in play. The AI theme, the drone theme, the robotics theme. So themes, or the nuclear energy theme, the themes are still very much in play. And it's just all about timing, right? Time. So be patient. Once these setups come into play again, it's time to go into action and make that money already. Okay, so good luck to everybody out there. That's basically today's stream. I'm gonna go back to vibe coding first. I'm gonna go eat some food, and then I'm gonna do the dishes, and then I'm gonna go back to vibe coding should I continue vibe coding my UFC betting algorithm, machine learning algo, or go back to coding my trading stuff? I'm not sure yet. I'll figure that out after I do dishes, but it's time for me to head out. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Good luck on the markets. Peace. For tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.